Okay, so this one, in this concept, we are going to find the values of the unknown for which the function is going to be undefined. So in the previous examples that we looked at, especially when we were dealing with the domain, we were finding values of x for which the function is defined. But this time, we are looking at values that will make the function undefined. Good. And most of the time, we deal with rational functions, especially rational functions in this form. Okay, in a fraction form, then you can determine whether the function is defined or undefined, especially because most of the time when you are given a polynomial functions, definitely all set of real numbers will make the function defined. But in the case of rational functions and radical functions, we can have values that will make the function undefined. So in this case, what we are saying is that if you have these rational functions, it can only be undefined if and only if the denominator, which is h at x, is equal to 0. Okay, so when the denominator is equal to 0, then the function can be undefined. Now, most of the time when you ask people this question, they send their mind back to finding the zeros or root of functions. No, in this case, you are not equating everything to 0, but you are only considering the denominator. It's only the denominator that will be equated to 0 and solve. Okay, so whatever value you get, that is what will make the function undefined. So be careful with how to deal with this one and how to also deal with finding the zeros. Okay, if it were to be zero, finding the zero would equate the entire function, the whole fraction, to 0. It wouldn't be only the denominator equal to 0. So that is what we are saying. That's the only difference here. Okay, so we'll not waste time. Let's take 2 examples and look at how we can do that. So for example 1, we are saying f at x is equal to x squared minus 2 all divided by 3x minus 6. So for the function to be undefined, then 3x minus 6 should be equal to 0. If this is equal to 0, then the function will be undefined. So in that case, we solve for x, okay, because we are looking out for values of x that will make the function undefined. So if that's the case, then I can write x is equal to 6, divide both sides by 3, and that gives me 2. So it means that the values or the value of x that makes the function undefined is 2. If I substitute 2 here, you will see that the function will be undefined. Let's substitute and see. So it means I'm going to plug these 2 into the function, then I'll have 2 squared minus 2 all divided by 3 multiplying 2 minus 6, and this gives me 4 minus 2 divided by 6 minus 6, which gives me 2 divided by 0. And remember, anytime you are dividing a number by 0, the whole situation will be undefined. You will get undefined. So that is why we are saying that the value that will make the function undefined is 2. So that is what we are looking out for. Now let's look at example 2. So for example 2, we are saying g at x is equal to 2x minus 1 divided by x squared minus 1. So this one too, the function can only be undefined if x squared minus 1 is equal to 0. So we ignore the numerator and deal with what denominator, because all these examples are what? Rational functions. Okay, if that is the case, then we know that I can, or let me do it this way. I can write this as this. We know that 1 squared is still 1, so that I can use difference of 2 squares here. Okay, so I have x minus 1 and x plus 1, which is equal to 0. Okay, then I have x minus 1 is equal to 0, or x plus 1 is equal to 0. I will then have my x to be 1, or my x to be negative 1. So it means that the values of x for which the function will be undefined are what? 1 and negative 1. This suggests that if I substitute 1 or negative 1, the function will be what? Undefined. Let's test and see. So I'm going to substitute 1 first. Then my gain at 1 is going to be 2 multiplying 1 minus 1 divided by 1 squared minus 1. And this gives me what? 1 divided by 0, which makes it undefined. Let me also substitute negative 1 and see. So I'll have 2 multiplying negative 1 minus 1 divided by negative 1 squared minus 1, which gives me negative 3 divided by 0, and that also makes it what? Undefined. So it is true that the values of x for which gain at x is equal to x 2x minus 1 all divided by x squared minus 1 are what? Negative 1 and 1. Good. So that is how we solve what, or we find the values that make what? The function undefined. As I said, always remember not to confuse yourself with this one and finding the zeros. Yes, finding the zeros. So when you have such questions, please, you need to be very, very careful. Okay, all right. So this brings us to the end of today's lesson. I'm your facilitator, Evans Okain. The name of this channel is Mazris TV. Don't forget to subscribe, like our videos. If you have any question, you can go to the comment section and ask your question. It will help you out. So see you next time. Bye bye.